Hello everybody, welcome to another Nintendo Switch video. It's Thursday, which means there's a lot of Nintendo Switch releases. One of them is Super Beat Sports. Believe it or not, this game is made by Harmonix, the legendary rhythm game developers, and this game, Beat Sports, originally came out in 2015. If you remember back to the Apple keynote where they unveiled the 4th generation Apple TV, that was the first Apple TV that no longer looked like a puck. It got thick and it had the touch remote. Well, they unveiled this game on that stage and it was available exclusively for the 4th gen Apple TV. Now they're revamping it for the Switch and they're calling it Super Beat Sports. It's not too super. It only has one more game than the Apple TV version had, and that game is Rhythm Racket. And as you can see, there are 2 games, Buddy Ball and Rhythm Racket, that can be played for 1 to 4 players. The rest are 1 to 2. So that's something to keep in mind. There is local play on here as well. I don't believe there's any online play, however. This is a rhythm sports title, and I know that sounds weird, and you might not understand that because I didn't at first when it was announced back in 2015, but seeing it in action and playing it, well, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's essentially Guitar Hero, but just on a sort of a 3D plane. And I'll show you what I mean here. So I have a, I don't know, like a golf club for some reason, but you can hear in the back there's music. And if you hit the button at the correct time, you're basically hitting notes on a Guitar Hero board. It's pretty simple. And it does get a little bit more difficult. There are pro modes that unlock after you beat each level, and those really ramp up the difficulty. This is the first level in this section, so it's going to be very, very easy. At first, the timing took a little while to get down, but once you start actually listening to the music and really relying on the audio cues, it gets easier. There are 3 lanes that you can choose from here, and after a while, they'll go pretty quickly with it too. So you will be having to switch quite a bit, no pun intended. There's no licensed audio in here. You're not going to hear, you know, Bon Jovi or something. You're just going to get this sort of kiddie-like music. And that's fine. You know, this is not meant to be this Guitar Hero killer or a Rock Band killer. It's just one of these games that, hey, it's 15 bucks. It's definitely a budget title, and it has some cool ideas, but it's not incredibly deep. It's just not. It's a game that you pick up and play for, you know, 10, 15 minutes. If you have kids, it's sort of a perfect game for kids, actually. My nieces played it quite a bit on the Apple TV when that first came out. And they're 8 and 10, and they liked it. They liked it a lot. Guitar Hero for them would probably be a little bit more daunting. So this is a good entry-level introduction to rhythm games, I think. Performance-wise, you always want rhythm games to run really, really well. If they don't, if there are drop frames, if there's any slowdown, anything like that, well, guess what's going to happen? You're not going to be able to hit the beat effectively. Well, that's not the case here. It's absolutely perfect. No slowdown. I haven't seen anything even remotely negative about the performance. It looks fine on the screen. It looks fine on a television. You get star rankings for each one, so if you have mostly perfect, you can unlock prizes. Here is a slapstick. So you know what? I'll equip it now. No problem. Oh, that's sort of neat, actually. You know, I'll equip that, I think. And I'll show you some of the other games. Very simple. It's a very simple game. Don't get me wrong. And they do get harder. So actually, I'm going to go back into this and I'm going to show you just how many. Look at all these. There's a lot. There's a lot, and it gets more and more and more and more difficult. There is also a pro mode, which I will enable here, and that gives you all these too. So if you're looking for, I mean, a value, honestly, this is probably pretty good. It's 15 bucks, and it's going to give you a lot of play options. I can also see this being a little bit popular at parties. It's one of those games like 1-2 switch that are simple and easy to pick up. And this is not one of those things where you have to be a quote gamer to get into. This is Netball. I'll show you what this is all about. These squibs will try to make you miss the ball. Don't miss the ball. Very simple. All right. And it's all based on audio. So this is definitely not the game to play when you're like me and recording and you can't crank up the volume on your TV because it would come across on the mic. See, very simple. I mean, and the games aren't really that different, honestly. It's sort of the same. You gotta really listen to the music here. If you're 35 years old, I wouldn't recommend this game. It's not one of those. It's not one of those games. But if you have kids, if you're looking for something that is a little bit more wholesome to play, well, this might fit the bill. And considering that the Switch is so popular with children as well as adults, I think this is sort of a natural fit. I'm not gonna sink, 150 hours into this game, but if I was younger, well, I would probably like it quite a bit. And the nice thing is it's accessible. It starts out very, very easy, and it just progresses from there. So if you're a kid and you can only beat the first level or only want to play the first level, you don't want to have to deal with that extra difficulty, that's fine. You can do that. The one game that I haven't played is the Racket one, because that is the new one, I believe. So we'll see what that's about. It looks sort of cool, actually. There we go. Oh, that was late. You can see it's getting a little bit faster. The game also has a charming art style, I would say. Maybe slightly generic, but it's cute. It gets the job done. Performance is always an issue on the Switch. Not even an issue, but something you have to be cognizant of. So I'm sure that the simplistic art style, especially when it came out on the Apple TV, I'm sure that's conducive to a system that doesn't have the power of, say, an Xbox One X or something. Right. There we go. So that's that one. I would like some kind of character customization or something. Because I'm not a fan of my character's chubby little legs there. Got the cankles going on hardcore. Yep, see, if you beat it one time, you get the pro mode. We're going to go back. We're going to show off a different game here. Gobble Golf. Loading times aren't terrible, but I don't know if they should be as long as they are for a game this simple. But the game seems to have a very nice clip to it. It's very clearly running in, well, I believe 60 frames a second. There's some nice anti-aliasing, so you're not getting the jaggies as much as you would normally. So here, yeah, it's just about timing it. Oh, I screwed it up. You get a little preview beforehand. And I hit that second one the first time, and it didn't seem to work, so I think the timing has to be a little bit more precise. They're going to keep giving you balls each round. You can dismiss this preview. You can't anticipate it too much, clearly. If at first you don't succeed, keep hitting it with balls. That's my life philosophy. You don't even have to listen necessarily. You can just watch. They twitch a little bit beforehand. I don't remember if this one keeps going indefinitely. It's been a few years since I played this. Very approachable. It's a very approachable game. It's sort of adorable. It's adorable.
Let's go.
However, the music is something that they would probably play in a sanitarium or something. Just, it's like a torture. Sort of a torture device. Yeah, see, now we're mixing it up a little bit here. Now we gotta aim our shots. Again, very easy. Just adds one more little button press there. Nothing bad at all.
Let's go.
Again, $15 available right now in the Nintendo eShop. If you have kids, it's worth it. You know, it's really worth it. A lot of the time nowadays, it gets much more difficult to find games that are A, easy enough for a child to play, and B, not incredibly violent and not something that you wouldn't want your child to see. So this really fits that bill. We're going to play a different game now. And I'm getting excited to try the Racket Rhythm one or whatever that's called. Buddy Ball. My dog is named Buddy. Buddy the Beagle. And those are aliens, I guess. In case you didn't know. I don't remember this one, so...
Ooh. Ooh.
All right. It's super cute. I wish there was a little bit more variety in the music. The one on the right is the faster one. So if you do that, see, I'm serving it to the faster one so that it, in hopes, my opponent will miss when they return volley. And the timing is not super difficult either, so. You see things are getting, ooh. I was just gonna say you can see things are getting faster. Yeah. All right. That was moving pretty quick. That was moving pretty fast. Oops, I screwed it up. Another thing to keep in mind is that you definitely want to make sure that your TV is on game mode for this. And there's a prompt at the beginning that'll tell you the same, but that's not something that you want to forget about. Oop, I screwed that up. Definitely not something you want to screw up, because if you do, you're going to get that lag. I'm going to check and see if there's like a lag coordination thing in there. I know with the Guitar Hero games, some of the Rock Band games, they had that. So we'll see. We'll see if we can calibrate some display lag there. But there's one more to try, and this is the one that I've never played. Oh, okay. So this must be a little bit more complicated if they're throwing you into a tutorial. Considering I work for ESPN, I sort of disagree with that no one loves sports as much as Wub Wub. Probably disagree with that. And speaking of ESPN, I have a gaming podcast on ESPN. So if you want, definitely check that out. I think it's pretty good. To win, block the ball from your goal and knock it into the opponent's goal. Move left stick to block the ball. After blocking, slugger will automatically bunt the ball away. So it looks as if this is sort of like a pong / air hockey, but just on a much smaller scale. It was so slow. All right, I'm getting a Windjammers sort of vibe here, actually, which is interesting. Because now you can curve it. Yeah, so it's got this Windjammers thing. You can play with 4 people. This is sort of confusing, actually. Okay, how do I do this? Oh, okay, there we go. You gotta catch it and sort of set it up. Let's see if I can get this. Oh. That was almost bad. All right, come on. Let's do this. It's hard to get the direction right. That's what's sort of throwing me off. It seems like you have to only hit the thumbstick very, very softly. Oh no. Oh boy, this slowed down the action quite a bit. There we go. So, you know, it's simple. It's very simple. Now we're going to change it up a little bit, apparently. Oh, interesting. Okay. So check this out. It's going to swallow swallow the balls. The nibsies are going to swallow the balls. And yeah, we'll see. We'll see what their ball swallowing skills are like. Oh, okay. I can control these. Interesting. Let me see if I can throw it to this dude. It seems unfair for my opponent, doesn't it? That seemed unfair for him. I wonder how that's going to work in an actual multiplayer setting. I like the dance is cool, you have to admit. So that's about it. The one thing I am going to do first, before we stop this video, I'm going to see if we can't do some lag calibration. Because that always is very important. And yeah, it looks like we can. Okay, cool. Yeah. So check that out. You can... All right, this is neat. This is actually a pretty cool... You move this until it looks synchronized. And you know what? It sort of all does. Honestly, that's a little bit too much. I guess that's perfect. You know, so there is a solution if you don't have the fastest TV, or if your TV does not have a game mode. All right, that's gonna do it. There's really nothing else to say about this game. It's cute. It's interesting. Is it for a 35-year-old guy? Probably not. Is it for some younger gamers? even up to, 10 years old that they struggle to get into something like Rock Band or Guitar Hero, this definitely fits the bill. Not a bad game, just not for everybody. It's definitely not for everybody. All right, that's going to about do it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, I would really appreciate it if you subscribed. If you're a fan of Nintendo Switch games, well, I play them every day, and I'm going to put a video up of a Switch game every day. Why? Because I love the Switch. And if you're a PS4 gamer, if you're an Xbox One gamer, if you're a PC gamer, don't worry. Those are coming every day as well. So please subscribe. I'd really appreciate it, and we'll catch you next time.